Hello, and welcome to Verbling. I'm Teacher Oakley once again. It's time for Famous Quotes class. I don't ordinarily do repeats. I try to pick somebody new every time I do Famous Quotes class, usually at this time on Saturdays, or at least it's Saturday for me. However, today I don't know why, decided to make an exception and rewind, replay, but with new quotes. Albert Einstein. He just has far too much material and worthy quotes and interesting and fun. And anyway, I couldn't help myself. So our subject today is Albert Einstein. Hello, Max.
Hi again. Okay, could you repeat several times? Albert Einstein?
Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein.
Einstein.
Albert Einstein. In Russian we say Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein. Okay, thank you.
Well, yeah. Albert is a very kind of normal British, or even more British than American name, and it's it's just Albert. Now, of course, I understand that Einstein wasn't originally British or American. He eventually came to America, so your pronunciation may be closer to his real, actual pronunciation of his name. You know, I'm sure that's my pronunciation is the Americanized version. It's a name, so a name is a name. It's just like, okay, Americans call it Mexico, but no one from Mexico says I live in Mexico. They live in Mexico. So, one of those things. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Anyway, also, hello, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you again. His name is German, so Albert Einstein.
Fine, right. I'm pretty sure when he was in America for 20 or 30 years, he got pretty used to being called Albert Einstein. Frankly, you know what they call you? Well, whatever. My name is Oakley Moody, but I've heard the strangest versions of my name living in the Philippines, quite honestly. And I don't care. And I bet Albert or Alberto or whatever you want to say, I bet he didn't care either. I'm just guessing.
German R is difficult.
Yeah, well,
Albert.
regardless. Okay. Also, Matthew is with us. Hello, Matthew. Welcome to the class.
Hey, Teacher Oakley.
Hi. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay.
Hi, Michael.
Earlier.
Hi.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, long time no see.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're Matthew. Okay. All right. Matthew Einstein is with us today. Excellent. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. Hello, Edgardo has also joined us. Hi, Edgardo.
Hello, teacher. It's good
Hi.
to see you again.
Nice to see you as well. And of course, I always look forward to seeing Anatoly on Saturdays.
Hello, yes.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Pretty good. Earlier today, I lost my power, so a couple of you guys, Heidi and Max, were in a class that was kind of disorganized. So I got my power back. Yay! I'm happy now. Anyway, Xingyu has also joined us. Hello, Xingyu.
Hi, teacher.
Hi there. How are you today?
Just so.
Just so. Well, okay. Well, I have some quotes here for you and for us to discuss from Albert Einstein. And I think they're good ones. Kind of funny. You know, the best thing for me about these quotes, he really actually makes me laugh out loud sometimes. He's a funny guy. Anyway, hopefully, maybe these quotes will cheer you up a little, Zingo. Okay. Looks like Andre has joined us. Hello, Andre.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yep. Loud and clear. Perfect.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Now, I'm usually at the beginning of famous quotes class, we talk about who this person is and all of that to get a perspective of the time and place where they were born and the things they did or were famous for, or what their focus was in life. I think we can kind of skip that today. We pretty much all know who Albert Einstein was. He's the guy with the hair, right? Yeah, that's him.
With the tongue out of his mouth.
Yeah, you like the picture I chose for the class description?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Very famous.
Yeah, I like that picture. Okay. All right, so let's forego all that, and let's just jump right into the quotes and talk about how we feel about these. Okay, Max, you were first in. Why don't you read the first quote for us here? I love this one.
The difference between stupidity and genius is that genius has its limits.
Physicist.
Yeah.
What can I say about it?
What can you say?
Yeah.
Well, what can you say? First of all, what is he trying to say here? Can you summarize it? Or say it in a different way? Can you paraphrase it? Interesting.
If you're genius, you have some kind of limits. Yeah, what you can do with your genius. But if you're stupid person, you can do what you want to do. I think.
No limits. The infiniteness.
No limits. No, nothing limits.
No limits. Okay. Be careful. Don't forget your verb to be, Max. If you are a genius, not if you genius. Genius is not a verb, so you can't genius. Genius is it can be a noun. Yeah, it is a noun. Okay. Can be a noun. It's an interesting noun, just looking at the English, at the vocabulary aspect of it, because even here, he's not talking. Genius can be a person. He is a genius. Sure, that's a noun, but genius can mean the concept of being a genius, the concept of being highly, highly intelligent, like genius and stupidity. If you're a stupid person, then you're a stupid person. We don't say you're a stupid, but I can say he is a genius. Anyway, it's a little interesting side note there. It is, after all, an English class. Heidi, do you buy it? Do you believe it? Does this make sense to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. All right. Okay, not a whole lot of philosophy involved here, right? All right. Anybody else have a comment about this particular quote?
Teacher, can I talk?
Yeah. You're anybody else. Go right ahead.
This quote means most of people should be modest.
Does it?
Should be stupid, because it is better if you have no limits. So everything is possible for you.
Ah, everything is possible for the stupid. Well then, what does that say about humanity? We're in luck. Everything is possible. We can look at this as a happy quote, can't we? Yeah. Do you guys think Albert Einstein was just a little bit cynical? Just a little bit, maybe.
Sarcastical.
Yeah, sarcastic. Sarcastic.
Yeah, sarcastic.
Yeah, not. Can't say
This
sarcastic.
quote,
Oh.
actually, this quote doesn't have any like deep meaning. It's just like he's playing smart. Like stupid people are very stupid, but like in comparison with not stupid people. So.
Alright.
Maybe he wanted to say that if you want to achieve something impossible, you have to be a bit stupid.
I like that. Maybe. He does have other quotes where he talks about how genius has its own kind of stupidity. So you may have a point there.
Or you have to be just child. I
Childlike.
think child also doesn't have any limits.
Okay.
I have son, and he's 7 years old recently, and he every day invites some new things. Of course, it's like while I mean. Everybody knows about it, but for him it's new, some kind of
right.
Did you get it?
Kind of. He looks at things in a new way because it's new for him. So he has a different perspective. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah. Zinner, you're asking what is the meaning? Well, we can either take it very literally that he's just being facetious. As Matthew said, he's just being a bit facetious, if you know that word. Good word. Tongue-in-cheek, as it were. He's just playing around, being funny. We can look at it that way, or we can read in a whole lot of different, more deeper meanings. Whoops, I mean deeper meanings, not more deeper meanings. Whoops, little English accident there. Yeah, maybe he's just being facetious. I don't know. Matthew, can you read this next quote for us? Again, a little facetious, perhaps.
When you are courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a second. When you sit on a red hot cinder, a second seems like an hour. That's relativity.
Yeah, of course. Obviously. Theory of relativity.
Yeah, I've heard this. I think I've read this quote in your class. I met this quote in your class some 3 months ago, or so I've seen this quote.
Yeah. I might have shared this one twice. Yeah. I've got some new ones here. I think I did this class like 6 months ago, but anyway, either way, it's relative. It's relative. It doesn't matter. I probably did pick the same one because I like this. I think it's a very funny way to explain relativity.
Well, but not necessary. Maybe when you're courting a nice girl, an hour seems like a day. No? You are so emotional. You have so lots of emotions, and you are like thinking what to do, what to say, things like that. So it's relative. It's relative, as Einstein said.
Well, maybe if you're nervous. I know one thing. If you're taking an IELTS exam, the 1 minute preparation time goes by in about 2 seconds, but the 2 minute speaking time seems to last about 3 weeks. I know that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I kind of like that. I wonder how that actually transposes to the idea of actual relativity. Okay, Edgardo, any thoughts about this quote? Does
Um,
this help you understand the theory of relativity any more?
yes, I think it's a very clear way to explain that theory. Um, well, I had a personal experience, but not with a nice girl, but with a video game, something like that, because I the video game called Age of Empire,
Uh-huh.
and to me, play I don't know 2 or 3 hours was like playing I don't know 15 minutes,
Oh, I get your point. Ah, yes, the theory of gaming relativity. Yeah,
something like that. Yes.
yeah, okay. I understand that. Oh, that's kind of funny. Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm thinking bad thoughts. Is anybody thinking good thoughts or any other ideas about this before we move on? Again, fairly straightforward. We'll get to some more
I I think
complicated
we
things.
have
Yeah.
to use this quote for learning English.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to watch maybe some interesting movie on English in English, or read only interesting things that's helpful and
Wow.
not boring. And you can spend more than hour, and that's just as a second for you, I think.
Okay. Well, Max, yeah, it's funny because I wasn't going to say it, but you look at it from the perspective of learning. I'll tell you, from the perspective of teaching, there are some classes that a 1 hour class just goes by in 5 minutes, and I'm shocked the class is over. And then there are other classes. Oh my goodness.
Actually, speaking about learning English,
Yeah.
I used to be in Oakley's classes like 4 hours in a row, like in Oakley's classes. So they went very fast, like 4 minutes only, because they were like very interesting. So
Oh,
And
thanks.
me too.
Oh well, thank you guys. It's very, very
maybe
complimentary.
5 hours in a row or something. I think I've been in your classes.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very kind of you guys. Um, okay, well, that's very nice. Let's move on. Maybe we can find something to, not really argue about, but maybe see from different perspectives. I need to say hello to Nader and Moham first. Hi, Nader.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
Nice to have you today.
Well, thanks. Nice to be here. And Moham, howdy, howdy.
Howdy, Oakley, how are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. I had all kinds of problems this morning, so it's funny how, okay, maybe this is relative. I don't know. It's funny how when you have a lot of problems, I had technical problems. My power was out. I had problems with my internet connection. I managed to just get it together at the last second. Did a couple classes this morning. But then the power came back on and everything. My wife brought me lunch and
Yes, mo-
everything's much better now. And so suddenly I went from a very frustrated mood to actually a wonderful mood.
Great, I'm happy for you.
It's all relative. Uh, okay, now maybe a little bit more brain power to think about this here. Anatoly, can you read this next one?
Mhm. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them.
Hmm.
Mhm. It looks like a practical advice for solving problem. We need to find a new way.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we can use this idea during brainstorming, for example, when we need to solve problem which couldn't be solved by using traditional ways. those.
I wonder if Albert Einstein ever indulged himself in brainstorming. He must have, with his fellow scientists, just bouncing around ideas. When you're really, really a genius, so much far head and shoulders above everyone else, can you do that? Rhetorical question, but not really. I don't know.
I guess it's very
Is it
difficult.
useful? Is it even useful, Nader? I don't know.
I don't know, but it's very difficult because most of the time you will be wasting your time explaining yourself. So,
Yeah. Okay. Be like brainstorming with 3-year-olds. I don't know. I'm gonna try a little experiment with my daughters later. We're gonna brainstorm. Let's see how this works. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you're right. Okay.
I guess maybe this quote is related to the next one, so we can talk about both
In
at the same time.
conjunction?
Yes,
Think
I
so?
guess so. I think so.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, they are. That's probably why I put them together. Okay, yeah, and they both fit on the screen, so sure, let's talk about them both together. Why not? Okay, Andre, can you read this next one for me? The one I've highlighted here.
Okay. Insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results.
Yes, indeed. All right. What do you think of this quote? Do you ever see examples of this method of problem solving?
Yes, I think if you try it twice, something and it didn't work, you would better change the way you do it. Like, for example, if you go to a door, it is you pull the handle and it's closed. How hard you would pull it, it won't open. It is better to find the key.
Okay. Nice example. Nice, clear example. I like that. Okay. Little points of English critique here. You would better find another way. We usually say you had better find another way to do it.
You had better. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, and actually that's interesting. It's kind of a phrasal modal. It's like you have to do something. You have to take off your shoes before you enter the house. It's a way to give advice, like we use should. You should find another way. You had better find another way. It's interesting. It's a stronger kind of a modal to give advice or suggestions. And also, when you said how hard you pull, you still can't open the door. You might try saying however hard you pull, you can't open it.
Okay, thank you.
For example. All right. Well, these are kind of, actually, thank you, helping me point out these rather unique kind of English phrasing examples.
Ever is used in this phrase to emphasize or to exaggerate. Like,
yes, that's true. However hard I try, I can't quit eating chocolate. Like that. Yeah. Oh boy. Excuse me. Okay. Xingyu. Well, looking at both of these quotes, looking from your cultural perspective, what do you think of these quotes, Xingyu?
Which one?
Well, they're both, I think, Nader hit the nail on the head. I think he's absolutely correct. They are related. I don't know. Pick whichever one you want. The idea that you can't solve any problems by continuing to do the same thing. You have to adapt. Do you think this is a central idea in Chinese culture? I'm curious your perspective about that.
And oh, according to the Chinese culture,
Yeah.
the older people would think young generation should do the same thing again and again, and would they would find the different results.
Really? Okay.
But for some young generations, they don't follow the older people. They often solve the problem using the different ways.
Ah. Okay. Now, well, that's actually very interesting. Right. Is this the job of youth? I'm not talking about just China, but the rest of the world. Is it up to young people to jump the tracks of, well, like train tracks, the same track thinking, problem solving over and over? Is that the duty of young people? Is that why we have young people? Is that why we keep making more of them? Moham, any thoughts?
And
Oh,
my father often often speak to me like that. He often told me, "You should follow my rules, and you will be successful in the future." But when at the beginning of my age, I often followed my father's rules. When I grew up during the ages, I find my father's rule was wrong. Now I can do things according to my thoughts.
Okay. All right. Okay. Another timeout. Little English suggestion. Instead of saying during the ages, you might say as I aged. Okay. Or in later years, or at a later age, and then talk about it instead of during the ages. I'll tell you why, because we often use ages in English to indicate a great length of time, like thousands of years. So you have to be careful about using ages when you're, especially, you have to be careful. Are you talking about a person's age? Because through the ages, mankind has always been stupid. Whatever, things like that. By that I mean through thousands of years. Not.
I see. I made a mistake.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, it's okay. It helps me to teach the class.
I often made a mistake when I continue to improve my fluency.
Well, that's good. That's how we learn. It's quite all right. Moham, any thoughts here about this tandem?
I think it's like when like if we have if I or anyone, if someone have a bad marriage, so if he keep on trying to solve his problem with his suppose the same way, like if they are arguing all the time, they have to find a new way, a new lifestyle to live, and to live together. And like if they are if they have a routine life, a specific lifestyle, they have to change it in order to solve their problems. That's of course in the the basic sense, but I think Einstein, when he said that, meant something more difficult than that. Like when we are developing a machine and we are having a problem with the development, we need to think in a different way. So I think it can be applied on both our everyday life and on theoretical or academic life. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I'll go you one better. You used a very good example, very clear, about interpersonal, using your interpersonal intelligence. I would say this works for all kinds of intelligence, which means all kinds of problem solving. You know, you could have physical intelligence, you could have problems jumping over a bar. And if you keep using the same exact method over and over again, you have to alter your strategy of how you're going to position your body or flex your muscles or so forth. You could actually make the example with anything. Music, mathematics, science, interpersonal, I think. Kind of it works for everything.
Yeah, this exact example you were talking about jumping the bar. There's an Olympic sport that involves jumping a bar. I don't know what was it called. Can't remember its name. But one of the athlete who broke the highest number, the Guinness what do you call it number, actually used a different technique to jump, and yeah. Can't
Okay,
remember the sport.
I absolutely just made up that example off the top of my head. I didn't realize that you have a concrete example of it. Wow, okay, cool. Great. All right. Okay, anybody else want to make a comment, an observation, or have anything else to add here, looking at these?
Yes, I guess the solution is in the word change. So if you are in a situation, in a bad situation or something, you need to change. You need to change your way of thinking. You need to change the way you approach the problem. You need you don't need to do the same again. It's like if you suffer from obesity and then you keep eating the same food, or you keep eating the same diet, you will reach the same result. Don't expect to lose weight. Or if you have a problem learning something and you keep doing the same thing you have been doing for your life, don't expect that you will get improved, or at least or big. If you don't expect big improvement if you keep doing the same technique.
Right. Well, let's say you're obese, then you need to change your thinking. Instead of worrying about what you eat, think about having liposuction. Or cutting your arms off. Yeah. Okay.
Also,
Yeah.
a point that we shouldn't see problems as a problems. We should see them as a learning experience.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah. So as a challenge. Challenge is a more productive word. So you should think of your problems not as a problems, but as a like I don't know. Okay, what word would you use? More positive.
Well, challenges, that's classic business talk.
Okay.
During the last quarter, our company has had several challenges due to the fall in oil prices. Yeah, not saying we've had a lot of problems and we're going down the toilet. Yes, you have challenges. And, sure.
Yeah, I face challenges.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. Okay, well, Albert Einstein also had a very checkered past when it comes to his education, as some of you may know. So he has this kind of interesting thing to say here. Let's see. Okay. Edgardo, you haven't read one of these yet. Edgardo, can you read this for me, please?
Yes. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school.
Yeah. What is he saying?
I think that the meaning behind this phrase is the really important things that you learn in life are not taught in school. Probably in life, in having new and different experience, knowing different people, doing stuff like that.
Okay. Do do you believe that? What do you think of that? What's your opinion about that?
I think I am agree. Or maybe when you talk about education, it's important explore both sides. You know, knowing the like practical things, like maybe intellectual things, like the thing you learn at the school, but also more handy things related to other people, to relationship, to I don't know, behavior, experience. You know, I think those kind of things they complement each other.
Okay. All right, thank you. That was very good. If I could give you just a little bit of English feedback, got to be careful about using the continuous tense with agree. It would be better instead of saying I am agreeing, which we really shouldn't use it in a continuous tense in that way. It would be better to say I agree, simple present, or you could say I am in agreement is a common phrasing we use. Okay. And maybe it's just a misstep, but you said you learn practic things. Okay,
I meant to say handy things.
Handy things, okay, or practical. You missed the suffix. Okay. Practical things. Practical is good. It's useful. Handy things, sure. Okay. Well, anyway, certainly didn't seem to hurt Albert Einstein very much that he kind of dropped out of school. But anyway. Okay. Anatoly, do you have any observations about this quote? What do you think of it?
I think it is true not for every and not for all situations, cases. Most cases when we need to study hard and good, and it includes of education. But I think Einstein referred this quote to the situation for when somebody need to discover something new, and I could agree with that quote for that situation, or maybe for arts, from something new. Maybe this one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all right. Oh, a little bit strange, complicated. All right. Time's a wasting. Anybody else got anything to say about this one, or shall we move on?
Teacher, can I talk?
Sure.
Please.
Max, I'll get to you in a second. Zingyu, go ahead.
I tell you some personal experience.
Sure.
I have been a teacher for 13 years. I have taught a lot of students. Some of students has grown up. When they meet me, they often said to me, "Teacher, I forget the I forget the things you teach me, but I remember the value you teach me."
Ah, oh, the values that you, okay, and it should be taught, past tense, teach.
Oh,
The
yes, yes.
values you taught me.
I
Ah, very good.
I remember the value you taught me, but
Okay,
I forget the s- uh, the uh, the specific knowledge you taught me.
got it. All right, well, very good. That's actually a good example. Very relevant. Okay, that's extremely relevant actually to this quote. Very good. Thanks for sharing that, actually. Max, you have something to add?
I had a teacher in in university, and first day when we met, he said something like, "Please forget what you learned before."
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
I've had a couple of new bosses that said exactly the same thing. Please forget everything you ever learned about this line of work. Okay. Uh-oh.
Yes, and also I wanted to mention that I think the main, how to say, what people have to learn, it's how to learn new without teacher.
Ah, right.
Some self education. How to name it? How can I name it? Self education.
Well, yeah. Let me think. How to self-educate? Yeah, I guess it's
Self education.
um, how to learn things yourself, or how to figure out things for yourself. Yeah. One, one thing that's always amazed me is people who just throw up their hands and say, "Well, I don't know how to do it." Well, then figure it out. You've got the internet. You've got resources. I don't understand why anybody throws up their hands and says, "I can't do it." In this day and age, like I mean, like professionally or in education, all perspectives. There's no point. My goodness, we have every advantage our forefathers never had. We have so many resources. It just seems crazy to me to say, "Oh, I can't do something. I can't solve a problem, or I can't figure out what I should do or how I should do something." Why? You can always figure it out yourself. You can self-educate yourself fairly easily.
No, but some people cannot do that. So
why not?
Because they cannot. It's their way of looking at things.
They so genius.
What?
What?
What's that, Matt?
They are so genius. They have limits.
They have limits. They're too smart. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good one. Okay. Very funny.
So
Yes. Go ahead, Nada.
yes, one final word. I guess I know he was against the education system. He didn't like it, and he's criticizing it here.
Yeah.
But I guess education, most of what we learn in schools we forget, but most of what we read in books we also forget. So it's not, you don't need to keep all information, you don't need to memorize it forever. But the education system, I guess, is only to broaden your mind so you know about this and this and this. And then after like so many years, your mind is very open, or already get enough information. So if you are interested in something, and you have it's only for background, so it gives you background about these theories and these types of subjects and so on. So I know it's you forget most of what you learn, but what you keep is knowledge, and knowledge is only it's like just a background, so you can go further if you like.
Well, for me, I just can't be sure because if I'm going to be completely honest with you all, I simply can't remember all the things I've forgotten. Ooh, that was deep, right?
Yeah, it's very confusing. You forgot a lot.
Yeah, I did. Okay, Nader, while I got you here, another pithy kind of quote, kind of funny and sarcastic. You want to read this next one, please?
The only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once.
Thank goodness. It would be so confusing.
Yeah. So, because yes, I don't really understand the full meaning, but I guess yes, everything you need time. It's everything needs time. Not all of the things can happen at once. So
I'm curious if he's making a. No, maybe not. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe it's just a sarcastic remark, but I wonder if he's making any kind of commentary about the nature of time. Is he demeaning time in some way? I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I'm not sure. Matthew, what do you think? Michael?
Yeah, the only reason for time is so that everything doesn't happen at once. So what does that mean? What is the meaning?
Well, I don't know. We can discuss that. I was just wondering that. I was posing a question.
Oh no, okay. I understood the meaning that everything. So basically, everything that happens, it cannot be repeated, or you cannot slow it down. So you should enjoy the moment of your life. Like every moment, you should understand that after a while you will become maybe another type of person, and you should live in the present. Live in present. Don't think about the future and don't think about the past.
Okay. Really? Okay. Well,
I don't
that's fine.
agree with that. That it's like about if I am to say that quote or that statement, I would just say it for to imply one meaning, which is life is not about getting a job or achieving something or be successful. It's about living and enjoying every moment of it. So I think when he said that, when he declared that statement, he meant that we should enjoy every moment of our life, and because it's that's the meaning of life after all. It's not about getting something.
Okay. Wow. All right.
that's my best guess. I don't know.
Okay. You guys are seeing more in this than I saw. But that's okay. That's what that's what quotes are. It's
Teacher, can I talk?
Yeah, sure.
And this quote means you should focus. You should pay your attention to one thing until the specific time. You shouldn't do many things at the same time. You shouldn't do many things at the same time.
yeah, I totally agree with that. Yes,
Okay.
yes, maybe this is the correct meaning. Yes.
All right.
That yeah, but because don't try to do so many things at the same time. Be patient. Things need time, maybe.
Okay. You guys are all seeing more about the human condition. I was looking at this totally from mathematician theory of relatively time is relative, and the only purpose of time in the equation is to make sure that we don't all explode into another Big Bang, creating another universe. But that's just the way I was looking at it. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Here's one I definitely want to address before the class is over. Absolutely. Okay. Let's take a look at this one. I really want to hear what everyone has to say about this. Xingyu, you haven't read one yet, so could you please?
You asked me to read this quote?
Yes, please.
It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity.
Uh-huh. And keep in mind that Albert Einstein said this quite some time ago. Yes. Do you understand appallingly? If something's appalling, it's disgusting, abhorrent, sickening. So, and then ly, of course, making it the adverb. Appallingly obvious. Okay, Xingyu, what? First of all, what is he saying, do you think?
I'll give you some examples.
Great.
The human being master the modern technology, such for example, the human being know how to create the nuclear weapons using technology, but some bad people using the nuclear weapon to kill people.
And I think that's exactly why he said this quote, actually, in reference to...
Yes. When the American government throw two nuclear bombers on Japan, the Albert Einstein felt very disappointed about this.
Okay. Yeah. Will there come a point in time when, okay, technology has exceeded our humanity. It's surpassed our ability to be humane to other people. Yeah. Will it even go farther than that someday? Edgardo, what do you think of this quote?
Well, I agree. I think maybe the meaning of this phrase is that the technology has become to be more important than humanity. I think maybe that's the meaning. The technology and all the things the human could do with the technology is more important than the being that create the technology.
That's frightening. Yeah. Watch out, Edgardo. Skynet is coming.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Were you? Me too. Yeah, it's exactly what I think of when I read this quote. I hear you. Max, do you know what... Max, perfect. Max, do you know what Skynet is?
Your bomb.
Skynet
Yeah.
is something from Terminator.
Terminator.
No?
Yeah, that's
Terminator.
Terminator.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. It's the
It's like
supercomputer that becomes self-aware AI. You know, self-aware, it takes over the planet. Yeah.
I think this quote relates to what happens today with all of us, I think. For example, I don't know. I don't know very well all of my neighbors, but I think 20, 30, 50 years ago, people talking with each other more than now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, Max.
Yeah,
Okay.
I even see the example of 4 teenagers having lunch at McDonald's that sit there and don't say a word to each other, but they're actually texting each other. I mean,
You have the same example, man.
that's not.
Max actually
That's
brought
not.
up.
Yeah.
Go on, please.
Go ahead, Moham. I was just going to say, if that's not an example of losing humanity, I don't really know what is. Go ahead, Moham. What are you going to say?
Yeah, but it's very true example, because here in Syria, like after the crisis have begun, and we had most of the times we had no electricity, so we had to depend less on the technology and more on our neighbors and our friends. So like let's say 3 years ago or 4 years ago, no one used to know anyone who lives in the same neighborhood.
Yeah.
But now, after what happened, everyone knows everyone. They need, because everyone needs each other, because sometimes, like when we have no electricity, we need to vent to each other. So we used to like sit together, all the neighbors, and get together and just talk and have some fun. That never happened before. Like when we have when we had everything, like when we had, as I've said, all the when we had the TV and internet and computers all the time, it was less intimate, of course. And to be honest, it's a different lifestyle. It's a very contradictory from the ordinary, but to each has its merits. Like there's a huge difference. Technology has really changed our lifestyle, and we really can't judge until we experience something like that.
For real, that's an amazing example. Yeah, that hits to the heart of it right there. Right. It's one thing to observe the advance or the creep of technology, but the sudden loss of technology, what does that do to people? Does it make them more humane? Even through such a horrible crisis as what's going on in Syria. Very interesting. Nader, do you want to add a last thought or two?
No, but I have the same example as you said. A big family is sitting and nobody's talking to each other. Everyone is absent-minded. Everyone is living in another place. And you can also take it like cloning, those horrible experiences that favors technology over humanity.
Yeah.
What's this?
Right. Okay, well, kind of some interesting last-minute thoughts there to leave you with for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining me. I'm just about out of time, but thanks a lot, and that was very interesting, as it always is. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care. Go in peace.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
weekend.